Namaste. We are trying to share whatever we know today, and you can take it as a very advanced study session of Gayatri Mantra. It's like planting a seed of information. Whoever would be ready, and whenever they would be ready, their brain will automatically download the required information and they will function through that information. That is the entire idea. So, are we ready? So, let's talk about Gayatri Mantra. Now, before we talk about Gayatri Mantra, uh, we all have different ideas and different story that we know about Gayatri Mantra, and we know how it came to our planet, right? And also, many of us know about it, many of us we don't know about it, many of us just have heard many times from the mouth of different people. Many of us we just chant the mantra, some of us know the normal meaning of the mantra, but today we would be sharing the generic, the definition or meaning of the mantra, also the yogic definition of Gayatri Mantra. Now there is a difference between yogic meaning and generalized meaning. So you have a choice whether you want to use the yogic meaning or generalized meaning. So it's completely up to you. Second is, it's a request to everyone, do not believe anything blindly. So use your discernment, because that is the first thing which we expect from you. You don't have to believe any of the information blindly, right? Because even we have certain limitation. Just keep your cup empty. So many of us already know many things about Gayatri Mantra. So if we keep that, I know this, I know this, I know this, I know this, maybe we won't be able to learn much. But if I think that, okay, let's listen, let's get to know what we can learn today. With the help and blessing of God, with the help and blessing of our teacher, Grandmaster Chua Kok Sui, we humbly invoke the great being of Gayatri Mantra, the goddess Gayatri itself. O Divine Mother, the Mother of the universal consciousness, the Mother of the consciousness of every person, every being in this universe, in all dimensions. We humbly invoke for your blessing. May the meaning of Gayatri Mantra, may the siddhis of Gayatri Mantra, may the power of Gayatri Mantra be awakened within our soul. So be it. So be it. Once again, all of you, namaste. Let's start. So first thing first, so this is the image of Devi Mata Gayatri. She has been depicted as Goddess Saraswati, something similar to Goddess Saraswati, and actually there is certain similarities also. So one hand of Lord Brahma created Goddess Gayatri and Goddess Saraswati both. So one hand of Lord Brahma is considered as Saraswati, and one, or also known as Savitri, and one hand of Brahma also known as Gayatri. So it's like Mool Prakriti and the pure consciousness. So that we will talk about. Also, in some of the pictures, she is depicted as a person with 5 heads. Now, this 5 head symbolizes the 5 different bodies of a person. Also, the 5-fold intellect. Okay, what are those 5-fold intellect? Now, when we are talking about the 5 head symbolizes the 5 body, also the 5 intellect. What are those 5 intellect? The Dhi. First is Dhi, Medha, Prajna, Dhriti, and Smriti. So this is the 5-fold intellect, 5-fold information from above until below. Means the highest, the most subtlest, and the grossest. We will talk about the same in the later part of the class. So the purpose of this picture that you see, it actually not only telling you that you have one body, but it is telling you have 5 body, also the 5-fold intellect. All right, let's move further. Now, before you know anything about Gayatri Mantra, you must know the beginning. So there are 2 major stories. In this story, we are just talking about how the entire creation came to existence. So we know that there is something called Big Bang and many concepts, right? But in Vedas, it is something different. It is being said God one day decided that he want to experience from one to many, and he wanted to become from one to many. It simply means his existence, he wanted himself to be multiplied. So what he simply said, Ekoham Bahushyam. That was the word that came out of the God. So that is from the story. So what happened? The moment he says that, from the the great Nabi, the Vishnu Nabi, the lotus appeared from his navel, and he created Lord Brahma, and he decided to give him a job to create the entire universe, where he can manifest in many different forms. Who can manifest? He, the God. So Lord Brahma created 5 essential elements, that is the earth, the sky, the water, the air, and the fire, the atom of which compiled with one another and form physical body. Now here the physical body is not the physical body of men only, but the physical existence of the entire universe. Okay, now this is just physical. Okay, it doesn't have consciousness. Try to understand, it is physical. So he created the mass, but there is, until unless it doesn't have consciousness of God, it will not move. So he used Prakriti to create the mass, but to put consciousness of God, he needs to put the pure consciousness. So he took the pure matter. This pure matter is known as Prakriti, also known as Savitri. Okay, and what he did, he just infused this pure matter with pure consciousness. This pure consciousness is also known as Purusha. So this is where it came from. Okay, so divine supreme God and the divine father, the Purusha, divine mother, Mool Prakriti, and the entire existence of the universe and human being and everything that you know about. So it's from Purusha and Mool Prakriti. So in this entire story, it is like pure consciousness and pure matter combined together and become and form the entire universe, and they become one. Okay, so if you see Lord Shiva's and Lord Goddess Parvati picture together, like Ardhanarishwar picture, so that is also symbolizes the Purusha and Mool Prakriti. Okay, now in this Purusha, the pure consciousness is also known as Gayatri. Now this is very interesting. This particular consciousness, remember, we are not talking about the Purusha part only. We're just talking about this pure consciousness has many names also. So the way the pure matter has name, the Prakriti, also the name is Savitri. And this pure consciousness also known as not only Purusha, but also Gayatri. This is pure consciousness. Now this pure consciousness knows everything. So Lord Brahma created 24 syllables. Okay, so this 24 syllables he combined together and the Gayatri mantra formed. Now through this, he consecrated the entire cosmos as a guide for how the life or how to live life for all the universe. So universe is in order, right? So you have to understand everything is in universe is in a particular order. If that order is not being followed, there will be chaos. So Lord Brahma created a 24 syllable mantra which helps human to guide life. In what ways? Related to politics, economics, health, and dharma. Now, just to make you understand, what does it mean by politics, economics, health, and dharma? What he is talking about? He's talking about 4 Vedas. What are the 4 Vedas? So Gayatri is also known as the mother of the Vedas. So Gayatri, goddess Gayatri is known as the mother of Vedas, right? So, so there are 4 Veda. What are the 4 Veda? Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, and Atharva Veda. Okay. Now each Veda have a specific work. Like Rig Veda, it talks about the dharma, means how an individual is going to achieve God or illumination, how an individual is going to perform certain ritual that he would be able to, go closer and closer to God. So in the same manner, there is Samaveda. It talks about how a man can fulfill his desire. So there is also a complete information that a man can fulfill all his desire. He can entertain himself. So Samveda talk about different kind of games, the music that can, entertain a person. In the same manner, you have Yajurveda. Yajurveda talks about politics. Also, it's being said the Vedas of Purushartha, the Vedas of warriors. It tells you how to protect a country, how to, work through politics. Then there is something called Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda tells you about economics, the wealth management, how you're going to manage your wealth. So it also tells you that how you grow grains, how you manage your grains, everything. So that is really amazing. It was already there. So as you see the mantra, it says Om Bhur Bhuvaswaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Now this mantra we will talk about in details. So we'll discuss the entire mantra in detail. But before we start the mantra, it is very necessary that we understand where exactly everything has started. So one more thing that is like many people, those who meditated on this mantra, those who have heard about this mantra, they meditated through this mantra and they received different information. And thus a lot of knowledge got accumulated. It is being shared with many people. So there was a lot of scientific experiments also to check what exactly Gayatri Mantra can do. Previously, like during the Kali Yugas, people were not aware that how Gayatri Mantra were able to help them. But today, at the time of Dwapar Yuga, the ascending Dwapar Yuga now, we still are able to understand because of the time of the air. We are able to understand even the slightest meaning of Gayatri Mantra. But this slightest meaning itself is enough to illuminate a mind, a soul, and put a soul onto a right path. That is the main purpose. Now, one of the Vyasa Krishna Dvaipayan. So now please try to understand, Vyasa is a post. Like, remember we talk about an Arhat, the God realized. Then we talk about Chauhan, Bodhisattva. In the same manner, Vyasa is a post. So Krishna Dvaipayan, who was a Vyasa, means almost at a Bodhisattva level, he compiled all this knowledge into 4 classes. Of course, Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda. It was already there, but also he compiled the experience an individual is, having after using the Gayatri Mantra in these areas. Now, one who chant Gayatri Mantra will have wisdom. Wisdom is what? There's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. So there is difference between jnana and buddhi. Now, if we say tattva jnana simply says that tattvamasi means I am he, or I am that I am. But if an individual says aham brahmasmi, so one cannot say aham brahmasmi until unless he experiences it. So aham brahmasmi cannot be said, but it is the subject of experience. So when a spiritual practitioner is saying tattvamasi, so that is jnana or jnana. One is saying that I am he. But when he meditates and the moment he experiences the oneness with God, it comes within automatically that aham brahmasmi. So that is bodha. That is no longer a simple knowledge. That becomes the wisdom. So there is difference between tattva jnana and tattva bodha. So that is what actually was shared by Adi Sankaracharya. Remember his book Tattva Bodha? So in many of my sessions, I have already spoken about him, and obviously about this book also. Those who those who haven't read this book, recommending all of you that please read this book Tattva Bodha. You will have amazing understanding. It's like a question answer. It's like FAQ about spirituality. What is 5 bodies? What are the 5 bodies? What are the functions? It's amazing book. It's like actually Tattva Bodha was a conversation between the Atma and the Paramatma. So Atma is asking, the Paramatma is answering. So that is how the Tattva Bodha came in existence through Adi Sankaracharya. So here's a definition of 4 Vedas. Remember we spoke that Rig Veda, so the definition of Gayatri Mantra is given in Rig Veda. However, it is being also shared in other Vedas also, but it primarily it came from Rig Veda. It is being mentioned in Rig Veda. Now you have to understand, Rig Veda has many mantras. It talks about many ways of doing meditation, many chants, how to chant, the way to chant, what can be the proper pronunciation of a certain syllable, what should be the height of the tone. So it is being, it's dealing with that entire information. Now it deals with entire thing. It actually talks about the spiritual well-being and individual. It talks about love. It talks about tapa, japa. It talks about that one has to perform dharma. It talks about that one has to be generous. One has to be compassionate. How to maintain peace of mind. Everything. Okay. Then Yajurveda Veda. It talks about politics. It talks about self-defense, leadership, fame, victory, dignity. Next is Samaveda. We are going fast so that we will have plenty of time to discuss. So the purpose is not just to stick with the slide, but also to share what exactly we know apart from the slide. So this is Samaveda. Now just try to understand. We are talking about this that many of us already know about it, but it's good to remind, right? Many of us, this is the first time we are dealing in details that what are the Vedas, what are they talk about. So you must know it is food for the soul. Right knowledge, right understanding is food for the soul. Okay, so Samaveda talks about enjoyment. It talks about your desire, game, amusement, recreation, music, art. So it talks about everything. It talks about sex. It talks about sensual enjoyments, everything, beauty, harmony, poetry. So if you see, there are many dance forms. People dance and they praise deity through their dance movement. Have you seen that? So there are many dance forms. When the dancer performs certain dance, and when the dancer listen to the music, so there is a, there are singers and musicians sitting at one side of the stage, and the dancer performing dance in front of the god or goddess, and the singer is singing, and the dancer goes into deep into meditative state, and get certain posture, and he or she is praising god through the dance movement. So one is enjoying also, but at the same time one is praying also. So that is the beauty of these Vedas. Then there is Atharva Veda. It talks about prosperity. It talks about economics, accounts, how you are going to manage your wealth. It talks about food grain. It talks about medicine. It talks about medicine means Ayurveda. How what leaf can cure what ailments. What mixture of herbs can cure what ailments. So in those days, people were aware of these things. Okay, but slowly and gradually, as people, there was the tradition was that there were many samskara, right? So in these, from childhood till the death of the, from the birth till the death, okay, janma samskara to antim sanskara, there had been many sanskara. Now among these, two three were very very important. One was upanayan. So many of you still knows upanayan sanskara. And then to going to the gurukula or the ashram, also known as brahmacharya ashram. So kids, they, after attaining certain age, they had to go through the upanayan samskara, and from there they had to go to a different ashram. In that ashram they used to learn these four Vedas, and along with these Vedas they had to study uh, Upanishads, Manusmritis, so to feed their body, mind, and soul. Also, the way today, what we do, we major sometime in science, some of us major in art, sometime some of us major in commerce, some of us major in accounts, right? In those days, people used to major in Rig Veda, people used to major in Yajur Veda, people used to major in Sama Veda, Atharva Veda. So the one who majored in Rig Veda becomes a Brahman. Interesting, right? Means the person knows how to attain the Brahma Jnanam. So the one who knows how to attain a Brahma Jnana is being considered as a Brahman. The one who mastered or majored the Yajurveda know how to lead, his army. So he used to become the minister of certain court, or maybe someday he used to become a king. And the one who used to know the Samaveda or the mastered in Samaveda, they became the great musician, great singers like Tansen, and many more, right? And in the same manner, the one who used to know, or mastered Atharva Veda or majored Atharva Veda, they become great Veda or great doctors of those times. Right? So that was the way. It is very interesting. If you try to understand it, then you will understand this is amazing, right? Knowledge is just a knowledge. You know many things. You, before this session also, you knew many things about Gayatri Mantra. But why you joined this session? Because maybe you would get to know something more about it, right? So the purpose is not just to know more about it. Now this is the time where you use this knowledge. So knowledge is good, but this is the time where you have to experience what you have learned. If you know that Gayatri Mantra does this, why not to try this, right? So the purpose of this entire session is to motivate you or to inspire you to chant Gayatri Mantra.